Did you say that the structures that allow for groundwater infiltration, or is it the roof that has to allow for?
It is worded a little strange, but I believe it's the elevated structure.
So the intent of that originally was sort of an independent structure, and we're applying it in this case to be a structure that's part of the house. I guess that's where it is sort of a disconnect, if you will. So it's an interpretation. Does it make any difference, I guess, whether it's attached to the house or disattached?
Well,
I'm not sure why.
like I said, I think that in the past we've always interpreted it as not applying to it. If you're looking at a new house, building something with a roof on it is going to be counted as part of the impervious coverage. But I think that as the Planning Commission, what you should do is simply bring this to the attention of the zoning board in your recommendation. And if they feel that, or if the building official or zoning enforcement officer feels that a variance is necessary, then they can certainly do that. I know that Fred has met with Justin on this application, and whether they realize that that was not included, I'm not quite sure at this point. But if you add that into the calculation, you are over the 10% which they are permitted on this site. So clearly it was done for that reason. So I would simply bring it to the attention in your recommendation so that everybody's aware now that that is the situation.
I have another question. As I understand it, you've taken out, or you plan to take away the shed.
That's
which
correct.
will then
Existing shed.
take away some roof area
Right.
that you're adding back to the house.
Right.
Is there an intent to bring a shed back into this property, or is that something we should bring to the zoning board?
That's not part of this proposal.
It's not part of this proposal, but if in the future, well, Lisa, if in the future they wanted to do a shed, what would be the procedure?
Well, they've already used their exemption, basically, if that is what is permitted. So they would not be allowed any more structures without a variance.
Okay, so that's...
Or paving of the driveway either. Any more impervious area would not be permitted.
So just in the process, I mean, so you could go, if you go to Fred Brown and you say, I need a shed, and he says, well, how big is it most of the time? But in this case, he'd say, well,
in this case, I mean, if they're going to allow that 120 square foot exemption as the porch on the house, then they've already used up that exemption.
Okay.
John, can I ask just a practical question of the engineer? In terms of the ability of the stormwater retention pond or area and the driveway, the pervious driveway, is there adequate stormwater treatment area to handle the additional 120 feet from?
Oh, absolutely. If you factor in, you know, the fact that a pervious driveway is going to provide, well, there's two driveways proposed here. Within those two driveways is certainly much more than reserve storage that would accommodate 120 square feet. And, you know, you have to realize that that 120 square feet, that ground area is still available to infiltrate. You know, it's the same
So
as
that you could put cisterns there,
right,
or just let it filter into the
right. And the other thing that I always do my stormwater retention area sizing conservatively in that I don't factor in infiltration, which you're going to get anyways. So if you consider the infiltrative behavior of the proposed stormwater management system, that would, you know, if I ran the calculations, I know that more than adequately accommodate another 120 square feet.
Thank you. John, one more question. The stormwater system, what kind of life expectancy does that system have? Does it require maintenance? Does it need to be examined on a periodic basis to make sure it's continuing to function properly?
Because it's only taking roof runoff, there's no sediment in that water at all. It's clear rainwater. So,
But it goes into a structure that has some plastic chambers.
yeah, plastic chambers. Yeah, it would be. It's almost the same as like a leach area. It's, you know, you wouldn't. You have wastewater effluent going into a leach area. You're not, even when you service this conventional septic system, you don't do anything to service the leach area.
So is there anything that could happen to that system of diverting roof runoff into that area? Is there anything that could go wrong with that process that needs to be, that would need to be addressed at any time?
In terms of maintenance, no. I mean, in terms of it, it's always, if there's only clean roof runoff going into it, it's never going to accumulate any kind of sediment. So there would be nothing to compromise its storage behavior over time.
So if it didn't function, you would know that it's not functioning because water's going someplace that you don't expect it to go.
Yeah, right. That, I mean, if it were taking overrunning flow, there would be sediment being built up there.
Any other questions for Mr. Wallace? Before you leave, I imagine that when we get to the end here, it's quite possible that one of us in our recommendation of zoning will make note of the covered roof issue and whether that should be included or excluded in the pervious calculation. So just to note that when you get to zoning, you might want to be prepared to address.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
And we do have Julia Gerald here. Would the commission like to hear something about the house itself? Okay, so Julia, would you step forward and go up to the microphone, tell them who you are, what your license is from the state of Rhode Island?
Hi, my name is Julia Gerald. I'm a registered architect in the state of Rhode Island. And I've been hired by Jean and Mark Gerard to design their home for 7 Park Avenue.
Before you go on, Julia, I'll entertain a motion to accept Julia's testimony as an expert witness. Second. All in favor?
As John has gone over the size of the site, it's 17,220 square foot site. It's considered a double lot in that neighborhood. There's 120 feet of frontage on Park Avenue and approximately 162 feet on the south property line, 124 feet on the north property line. As John said, there's an existing dwelling and shed on the property, and we're going to take those down. The existing house sits approximately 10 feet from the south property line and approximately 20 feet from the Park Avenue property line. The proposed dwelling is set approximately at the closest point 21 feet from the south property line and approximately 26 feet from the north property line and 38 feet from Park Avenue. The proposed dwelling is a 3-bedroom home. The approved septic is for a 4-bedroom home. There's a 2-car garage on the north side of the house in the lowest level. The first floor of the home, 1,450 square feet of heated living space. There's a bedroom on the first floor, a bathroom, kitchen, dining room, family room, and sunroom. And there's a garage on the south side of the dwelling. The second floor of the home is 1,270 square feet. There are 2 bedrooms on the second floor, 2 bathrooms, and a study. And there's an observation room with a mezzanine. It's about 80 square feet. The exterior of the home will be stone veneer and shingles. The home has been designed with staggered roof heights, dormers, decorative eaves, decorative shingle flares, bracket details, columns, planters, and shutters. The massing of the house is long and thin to take advantage of water views, natural light, and natural airflow. There are decks, a screen porch, and a sunroom, which are transitional spaces between the outside and in. If you look in your package, the drawings basically support the outline that I've gone over.
Julia, is that house consistent with some of the new homes that are being built in the Jamestown Shores area?
Absolutely.